Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video, hopefully it'll be a quick video, I've been asked the question, I wonder how hard a railroad track anvil would test out, or specifically a lot of you out there that do have railroad track anvils would like to see whether a railroad track anvil will test out harder than say some of the cast iron anvils that you find online. So I will be limited in my testing method to just using this Subosan hardness testing kit. It goes from a 40 Rockwell all the way up to a 65 Rockwell hardness. And so all I can go is as low as 40, and I bottomed out these on a cast iron anvil. Now the Achayo, or I believe that's how you spell it, the Achayo anvil, the little 66-pound double horn that you can get over on Amazon or eBay, that I've done a whole review for. I'll put a link to that down in the description down below, the videos there. And then I'll also give you a link at the end of this video if you want to go watch that review. It tested out fairly good on the Rockwell scale. Again, if you want to watch the full review of that, you can do that. But of course, like the cast iron, they were all the way down below 40 Rockwell. So we're going to go ahead and test out these two sections of track, and we'll get right into it. So first off, before we even break out the hardness files, these are two separate pieces of track that I have acquired. One was a barn find, so it was here when I bought the property. The other one was given to me by a friend of ours, the channel, Mr. Daniel Crawford. He gave me this railroad track anvil here, and this one's actually believed to be wrought iron. I still need to kind of check it. It was throwing some carbureous sparks on it, but it is supposed to be a wrought iron track. So certainly it's got some grain structure in it that makes it look like wrought iron. And then this one over here is a steel track. And we can get into some of the differences as we go here. But I'm going to go ahead and scratch test both of these for you so you can see how it works. So we're going to go ahead and do like what was suggested by another viewer. We are going to start at our highest end, which is the 65 Rockwell, and we are going to go ahead and scratch the surface here, or attempt to scratch the surface in a way that you guys can see it and hopefully be able to take notes on it. I'm going to start clear up here towards the one end, and it bites. It digs really good, like you would expect. I mean, you can shift it. It's really scratchy. So that one on the piece of steel railroad track does fine. So it's not 65 Rockwell, and we'll go right next to it. 60 scratches just fine. Go down to 55 Rockwell. Again, right next to it. 55 Rockwell, scratches fine. Let's see here, let's do 50 Rockwell. And this is C scale, by the way. 50 Rockwell, it's starting to slide, so it's not quite, it can still make a mark, but it's starting to slide at 50 Rockwell. So we're going to go down one more to 45 Rockwell. I'm going to go one more here. We're going to see what that does. It can still bite. It still makes a mark at that. It is still slippery. It's more slippery than the other, but it still definitely makes a clear, definitive mark on this. Hopefully you guys can see it. I avoided doing the complete macro lens today. I just got the camera as pretty close with what I could. I figured that was good enough to see what we're doing here. Hopefully I was right about that. So now we're all the way down to 40 Rockwell. We'll have to see how the 40 Rockwell does. And we're going to give it a scratch. And it still scratches. So even at 40 Rockwell, this piece is still scratching. So even though this is a steel and supposed to be a high grade steel, or a good steel that a lot of people use, this is not a hardened piece, clearly, because 40 Rockwell just, again, it cuts in. It cuts in, and not a bit of damage on any of the file teeth. So Again, so that's that one. That's the steel one. We will go ahead and slide that out of the way for a second. Excuse the noise. Let's try to get this in and get it all centered up and in focus. Maybe we can get it in focus. I might have to adjust my camera here, if you'll bear with me for just a second. Let me adjust up my camera angle. That way we're still in focus. Everything should look good, I would think. Yeah. You all ought to be able to see that just fine. I'm going to do this raw in the moment. Of course, I could edit this part out, but it's just part of the process. All right. Again, we'll go with the 65 Rockwell. This, again, is believed to be wrought iron, so I'm not having high hopes already, but we'll start off at the end. Oh, yeah, and that 65 carves it like butter, and that's the little mark there. Hopefully we can see that in some light. Might help to step off to one side a bit so you guys can see. Hopefully we can just put that mark there. That carves just fine. Let's go to 60 Rockwell. Right next to that one. Peels it just like butter. Well, butter doesn't peel, but you know. Yep. 55 Rockwell. You can hear it just cut. It doesn't have that glassy slide, you know, like what you're used to. So here we go. This is the 50 Rockwell. Yep, it just cuts right into it. Let's go ahead and do the 45 Rockwell. Cuts right into it. And then finally, let's do the 40 Rockwell as well. And it cuts right into it. So definitely soft. So there's a good chance that that is actually a soft wrought iron anvil. I'll go ahead and slide that out of the way and this other one back in here. There we go. So back to regular, if you will. So yeah, so we have our steel one on one side and we have our wrought iron one on the other, or I'll put that in air quotes. If you're interested in picking up one of these kits, these Subasan kits, I will have an Amazon affiliate link in the description down below. That does go to help support the channel at no additional cost to you, so be fully aware of that. I will also put a link to that little Achayo anvil, which is a great anvil in my opinion. You guys have probably heard me talk it up too much, but again, I think it's a really great beginner anvil for sub $200. So it's a really good anvil for that. But again, yeah, these little hardness testing files, they seem like a bit of an extravagant spend, but if you're going to get into these sort of things where you really want to know and find out, you only have a few options online to where you can actually test hardness, you know, that are reasonable anyhow, and these testing files are about at the bottom of the basement, bottom run of the basement. Not that they're cheap, they're about 75 bucks, but and they're really high quality files from what I've tested and found out, but they are more accessible than say some of the more electronic digital testing stuff that you can get yourself into. But okay, so nonetheless, I'm also going to do a ball bearing drop test. This is a bit of redundancy. Also, if you are wearing earphones, you may want to turn them down a little bit, because if this ball bearing drops and hits the table, it's awful loud. So we'll do this on the wrought iron. And now we'll do it on the steel. Get that ball bearing. Pop all my buttons loose. I need to lose some weight. All my stress eating these days. Now, as you can see, I'm not really trying to bounce this ball bearing. I'm not dropping it from way up here. The reason why I'm doing that is I wanted you to hear the difference in the two. So if you need to rewind a bit so you can listen to the differences a bit more. This one had a dollar sound to it. This had a higher ping sound to it. So the steel one had a higher ping. This one has a dollar sound. When I ground this off clean in order so this way I could show the file marks, when I ground this, this had like an orange sparks to it, had orange colored sparks, and this one over here had the bright white firecrackery type sparks. So that's where I'm developing that the steel anvil or this piece of track is steel, as where this one is probably wrought iron. But again, just something to keep in mind. So when you're deciding on whether a railroad track anvil is better for you as an option or a factory made anvil of some kind, you have to take that into consideration, because not all tracks are, you know, the same. You may get a hold of a wrought iron track and it's just as soft, if not softer, than the cast iron anvil. Likewise, just because you got a piece of steel track does not mean that that steel track is hardened. And if you think about it, it wouldn't make sense to harden to a great degree in the sense of a very hard surface when it comes to rail track. It wouldn't necessarily make such sense for it to be brittle. They're going to heat treat it back to that it becomes tough. It's made of a wear resistant material, yes, but they're going to also heat treat it to where it is a tough material, because it needs to take a lot of compression. And if you've ever watched trains go over tracks, man, those things move. And the last thing you'd want is to have a brittle section of track when the, you know, couple 100 tons comes rolling over it. If it wasn't supported right, it would just crack or break. So that would make sense in my thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you train enthusiasts out there could tell me different. But anyways, without further ado, I'm going to call that it for this video. I hope that answers the question. Again, these are my results. Your results may vary. You won't know unless you go out and pick up a testing kit or something of the like that you can test your own things. But hopefully this information was helpful to you nonetheless. So, as always, God bless you. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.